it's going to change dynamic, but in terms of play style, they're exactly the same.
They most certainly are. We are into Champion Select now, so OMG with a little bit more flexibility in this ban phase do get rid of the Twisted Fate and the Hecarim. They see Athena and they're like, it's not Bamey. Oh wait, we've still got to ban Twisted Fate. As it is going to be Maokai and LeBlanc banned away from Aimee. Vladimir banned on the blue side here from OMG as well. They have a first pick in mind, and it's not the Bloodlord.
I think that this is a mistake again in the draft phase from OMG, though, because that means that you give Aimee either the free Rise ban or you give them the free Sivir ban. Again, the thing is they had the OMG starter pack. LeBlanc ban, Maokai ban, Sivir ban.
Why not ban Sivir?
From blue side, and now you kind of open up that possibility even more by denying Vladimir from blue.
Well, it is going to be the Shen banned away, so Malzahar, Sivir, both of these picks still available, and OMG, they notice the purple Void Man, and they are able to take that one away very quickly, and Aimee now to respond as a Voidless. Not able to pick up the Hecarim, now thinking about the Rek'Sai.
It has to be Sivir in this rotation, though. You cannot give Sivir and Malzahar to the same team, much less to OMG. So the key thing about Malzahar, he's been banned a lot, so let's kind of quickly cover why he's so strong.
Yes.
First and foremost is his passive. It's going to act kind of like a mini Banshee Veil, and it actually makes him very hard to pick off. He's kind of superficially tanky, or much tankier than you would expect. The next big thing is his wave control. So like Swain, he's one of the few champions that he can actually damage you underneath a tower without putting himself in a compromised position. He throws his Voidling army at you, he hits you with the Maleficent Visions, and he pieces out. He's already behind second tier tower. Your half health. Thirdly, it's the long range on his ultimate, and in tandem with the Sivir, that cannot go through.
Certainly can't. So nice work from Aimee to pick that one away. However, the Braum and the Gragas once again picked up here from OMG. We'll see whether 5 and Zhuizhui can have better performances this time, especially with this super powerful mid laner. And OMG banning the Vlad on the blue side, but do manage to pick up the Malzahar, so maybe a little bit of, I guess, better thinking, although relatively lucky that it was the Shen that was banned as opposed to the Malz.
I do really like the second rotation from OMG, though. I think it's very clever to pick up both jungle and support in second rotation. We typically see this from blue side because you hide more of your picks in your composition. But cute to do Braum and Gragas together just because Braum creates a lot of problems for Gragas.
It certainly does. You can see now Amazing J happy to throw the gauntlet back into the carry pants, as you saw him on your screen just there.
This is sloppy, though. The fact that you picked Tahm Kench as well as Aurelia in the same rotation pretty much guarantees that that's going to be Road on Tahm Kench and Amazing J on Aurelia, when you could just hide it with a flex pick and look for more of a red side counter pick if you wanted to give Amazing J that hard carry potential.
Well, Xiang is also going to be able to pick up the Trundle as well, who fell all the way through the draft. So Amazing J, on one of his favorite picks, not going to be there. But it's an interesting pickup into the Aurelia. We've seen this one go both ways. Of course, Trundle generally likes melee matchups, but Aurelia, pretty dumb, just in general, as Lucian is going to be locked away for SMLZ.
Aurelia always comes down to this idea that I have 150 CS, I have a Trinity Force, I am Aurelia no matter what. Of course, if Trundle gets a snowball, like you said, he can punish a lot of melee matchups. There's a lot of counterplay. Anytime Aurelia really is in the lane, it kind of comes down to a skill-based matchup. So we'll see how Xiang and Amazing J navigate this one, but more importantly, if either of these champions get a snowball, it's going to cause massive problems for the backlines.
I do really, really like Xiang picking up a champion with a lot of long-range slowing potential, because it does give Icon then even more of an ability to close distance with his ultimate and lock people down, as that's a Xerath. Okay, cool.
Oh, that's hilarious. So again, the thing about Malzahar that I think is probably the most broken is this 700 cast range on his ultimate. That's absurd. You're hitting that person from like halfway down the lane.
Who has a longer cast range on their ultimate, Frosker?
This is what I suspected. I was like, he's either got Azir, he's got Varus, or he has Xerath. And he went super deep on the champion pool, and we ended up with Xerath.
I actually really like it, as we haven't seen Xerath for quite some time. Of course, he had different Shurima options, but he wants to go for that one, and I definitely respect you for it, Athena, who has been the one to mix up his picks a little bit more there in the mid lane, as opposed to Bamey. Has that sort of wider champion pool as far as what he's played so far.
I mean, you still effectively get kind of a semi-global presence there with the long-range ultimate from Xerath, as well as the Tahm Kench and the Rek'Sai, so it still fits very much in Aimee's wheelhouse. Different champion, same flavor.
Most certainly is, as the coaches are going to shake hands. Let's get in to game number 2 between Aimee and OMG. Thank you very much, Cool. Of course, on the sidelines here for OMG. Wishing them luck, and we'll see whether the Malzahar pick is going to be able to carry them through, as they did manage to pick up the very coveted mid lane option. And Athena mixing it up with the Xerath. And we'll see whether this is something that he's planned prior and said, aha, just need to Arcano Pulse the minion wave. We'll be fine.
See, we gave Aime a bit of crap for rotating Tahm Kench and Aurelia in the same pick because they would then showcase who is going where as opposed to using Tahm Kench as a flex. But it was just to set up the anticipation and surprise of Xerath.
And he's relatively immobile, and Road can now eat him up and move him around the map if he wants to. It's perfect. It's genius.
Exactly. So it should be noted that last game, Aime did initiate the lane swap, although they have a much stronger 2v2 this time around, and it actually looks like we're going to go ahead and go into standard lanes, although Road and Jin Zhao are actually slipping down into this brush because they're trying to catch OMG coming into the lane, not knowing that 5 is already behind them and Icon is also down here.
Well, they're going to spot Icon as all three of them converge. They didn't even know they were here, as there's the Nom from Road, who's trying to get the Sivir out of danger. Flashes, spits him out. That is going to be one summoner spell for all three towards the bottom side of the map from OMG.
And
not 3 summoner spells, just 1. But 3 people.
But very cute adaptation on a level 1. And if you actually look at the more elite teams in the LPL, they're actually warding against this. EDG in their most recent game actually go ahead and they place a ward into that brush to check for maneuvers like that.
Yeah.
So good kind of blind faith call from OMG there, but certainly punishing and forcing Aime into the lane swap, knowing that they're now a flash down.
This is bad news as well for Amazing J, who wants to be picking up that CS where he can. OMG have shoved that wave up, but they really want standard lanes, as Xiang is going to be on wave clear duty until his bottom lane can reach the top side of the map. So will work out for Amazing J. But this is OMG wanting to make sure that they can punish this bottom lane that was so good for Aime in game number 1.
Yep, swapping back. So initial advantage was to Xiang being able to get to that wave early and pick up the CS that Amazing J was denied. Although we'll see if it evens out as both laners... Oh my god, they're going to shove it in and swap again.
Oh my goodness, it's musical turrets.
This is just punishing their top laner, though, because he's not getting that time to sit in a consistent lane.
Yeah.
And on Aurelia, that is fairly punishing. Again, it's to that point where she's an item-dependent champion, so she needs that gold to come in so she can get to those break points. It's not going to come through levels.
You can see pings go down under Aime. They see SMLZ towards the top side of the map. Has that wave building up. We'll see whether they actually decide to go into a fast push. As Xiang's towards the bottom side, so it looks like no. Once again, they're just going to try and lane this one out, but the lane swap has been reinstated by Aime.
We'll see if Xiang is actually forced to pull the TP here if they try to build up the wave and do push down the tower. Nope, it looks like he's actually going to walk across.
Yeah. He's going to head straight back up. The roaming troll.
Shui is actually caught out by a ward here.
It's just standing. Well, Aime are going to find him, but there's the flash from a Voidless. Icon turns up in the nick of time, but nice use of the tunnel, gets a Voidless out of there, and they get a Cinderling for their trouble.
The confidence of Shui to make a play like that, simply because, again, Malzahar, known for his big, high lane control.
Yeah.
Simply because his ability to push is pretty absurd, is able to make that rotation much earlier and much faster than Athena.
Well, OMG have made their way to the turret this time around, so just going to shove this one through as quickly as possible. Amazing J looking for as much as he can, but doesn't augment his bottom lane's push, which is important. Cute little slow there from Athena. So OMG do get the better end of this lane swap for now.
Aime are destroying a lot of experience in gold, however, behind tower.
I'm actually going to go back here, so it doesn't look like the tower wants to be taken. They just wanted to make sure that all of those creeps die.
And again, continuing to play musical chairs and now running up towards the top side of the map. So still dodging SMLZ and 5 and waiting for Road's flash, which is just about to come off of cooldown.
Well, now Athena as well. Absolutely fine here in this lane for the moment. But no jungler attention into the mid to try and keep Icon down. And on Malzahar, I mean, if we're talking historical, Malzahar is pretty gankable. But now, with the semi-Banshee's Veil, is more difficult to gank. But if you're a Xerath, you can pop that from basically anywhere.
Well, an issue with the ganks on the mid lane is the fact that since we are in a lane swap, it's tied up both of Voidless and Shui to either shadowing over their extended lanes or assisting their top laners through double jungle.
Yeah.
So there hasn't been a lot of attention from either jungle to punish the mid laners here. So again, it's a free farm lane, and yes, Malzahar is fairly immobile, but again, he can throw so much damage and push from pretty much at his tower. So he doesn't have to put himself into harm's way.
We'll see whether it does work out. It's now Aime running out of minion wave. The next one is due relatively soon, but they'll have to get out of here. And OMG looking to set themselves up as their next wave is about to crash as well. A little bit of a better time for the OMG roster as they get rid of this tower on the outer bottom side. Voidless looking for a gank as he throws in a Prey Seeker onto Icon.
And this is the difference. Aime decided to make their push without using their jungler, whereas OMG decided to make their push without using their top laner.
Yeah. Well, SMLZ also going to be getting the gold here from taking down this turret as well, which is interesting.
Again,
Dragon now going to be started.
OMG like to prioritize giving their AD carry gold. They funnel a ton of resources into him. We'll see what he does with that gold and if he follows any peculiar build paths.
Do we like it as well for the fact that he is playing Lucian, who does want to be spiking a little bit earlier in this game at the same time?
I don't necessarily think it really matters with SMLZ. I do expect him to go for more of a late game oriented Lucian build as opposed to that initial spike though. I think it's far more likely that he'll go for the Essence Reaver crit build as opposed to the Ghost Blade build, although we'll keep our eye on it.
Well, has got himself the hammer, so not giving anything away just yet as a Voidless does manage to have the shield popped, but Prey Seeker going to come down and just Ghost expended for Icon in the mid lane.
Still has his flash, so we'll see if Voidless is able to punish that, although without his own flash, there's not a lot of kill pressure in that mid lane. There's not really a lot of kill pressure anyway because it is a Xerath.
Yeah.
Issue is that it's very hard for Xerath to burst someone out, especially before level 6.
Well, he's level 7 at the moment, does have the capability as a Voidless now just setting up some splooches for Xiang. As Amazing J comes in, Xiang just going to get stopped by the Equilibrium Strike, throws down a pillar, tries to create distance, has to use the flash. Now may get another summoner spell.
Yep, overextended without a tower certainly being punished. It does mean that Amazing J is able to catch up in CS, so Aurelia was falling behind initially, but in a good place now.
Will be delayed on that Trinity Force regardless based on the lane swap, so good news for OMG. But you're right, in the 1v1, everything even. And a Voidless stealing away this blue buff, denying it from Icon.
He's waiting for Athena to come over and take it.
Well, Xiang is going to deny it at least from the Xerath. And OMG looking to do the same sort of steal here towards the bottom side. And it is Icon that picks that one up, so definitely a win for OMG.
Again, it's this idea, though, that in the 1v1 or the 2v2 matchup with the mid laners and their junglers, is that there's certainly more kill threat and kill pressure from Icon and Shui.
Yeah.
Simply because Xerath isn't in tandem with a high damage jungler.
Has built himself up some items, though. Looking for that Morellonomicon as item number 1. Has the Dark Seal there as well. So thinks that he can play relatively safe, and we'll see whether IM can still get this snowball potentially. Jojo coming down to this bottom side as the inner turret is under fire. The Voidless once again looking for Xiang. No flash there as the Voidless does have his, and Amazing J's going to flash forward. Nice knock-up comes in as well. They're chaining the CC, but a Voidless flashes through just to get a red buff. And they're waiting for a Blade Surge. Amazing J needs it. They can't get in, and Xiang survives.
Just scrapes out,
Whoa.
which meanwhile...
Yeah, OMG are going to be able to lock down first blood as Road falls down. They're very patient here towards the bottom side, and can they get more?
So Road getting very greedy, actually looking for some vision off the side while OMG were pushed into his tower.
Oh, and Jinzhao as well has to flash, but SMLZ immediately after him picks up the kill with the passive. And they're in a little bit late. Amazing J looking for SMLZ. Will be able to get him, but can they actually get the follow-up kill? Zhuizhui also paying for it. It is Arcana Pulse that helps out. A Voidless picking up the kill as he throws down the ultimate. 5. Taking some damage as a Voidless just under the ground, wandering through. Icon does have the ult. Not going to use it just yet, as Road is, of course, able to eat him up. And that is a very good part of being a Tahm Kench.
Yep. Able to reposition his team members right there and save his Rek'Sai. But in the end, it's pretty much evened out now. OMG a little bit late to the party, but it makes sense. Again, IMA have a lot more mobility on their composition, able to collapse better.
The fact that you can get anyone out of that Malzahar ultimate using your Nom Nom from Road, very, very important, and possibly why they picked the champion in the first place, purely for that reason.
We'll keep our eyes on Road and see how he's able to impact and change the course of these fights.
Well, Avoidless building up a tier map for himself. Looks like SOFM's item builds are contagious here in the LPL. So he wants to be able to get onto the farm train as effectively as possible. Doing so quite nicely as there's the Abyssal Voyage, but Road is going to get knocked out of it, and OMG able to take down the Tahm Kench one more time.
And constantly these picks happening cross-map for both teams of laners just being overextended and not having the appropriate vision to cover their flanks.
Yeah. And IMA, despite the fact that they're the ones that look like they're getting caught out a little bit more, are the ones still with a gold lead available to them. As you can see, most of that towards the top side of the map. Amazing J able to utilize the attention that Avoidless has been giving him to great effect, 45 CS to 29.
And again, it comes down to this idea that if you have a fed AD carry in which SMLZ is the sole gold benefactor for OMG, you have the direct counter and having a very strong Aurelia, or at least a stronger Aurelia than the enemy top laner. So at some point, Amazing J will be a threat to SMLZ no matter what.
Yeah, that's a very good point. If we're looking at CS, the numbers towards the bottom side of the map are the worrying ones for IMA, as Jin Zhao is 40 CS behind SMLZ. That lead looks to be growing as well as OMG shove another wave towards this inner turret.
I don't necessarily think that's as punishing on the likes of Sivir, though, simply because, again, she's got great wave clear built into her, and more importantly, she has that AoE augmenting ultimate to really help for her mid-game power trough through her itemization.
We'll see whether it is going to be enough here for IMA. It's their topside focus. Has been waning as Xiang was able to pick up a whole bunch of farm. Level 6 to level 6.
This poor troll, though, has been stuck at this point and just being abused by Avoidless. You know, you can actually see Rek'Sai, again, sliding in underneath, but OMG setting a trap because reinforcements are on the way.
Yeah, they are. SMLZ is going to see Avoidless as well as Xiang and Amazing J are fighting this one out. In goes the tunnel, but the culling's coming through as well. Xiang picks up the kill, and Avoidless going to die at the same time. Xiang, welcome to the game. And really good play from OMG.
Really punishing Amazing J, just slight miscommunication there. I mean, effectively, it was a 1v1 to start out with, but Amazing J going in way too early before his Rek'Sai was available. Good rotation from OMG, and this is actually the second time that they've beat IMA kind of in this mid-game point around the map.
Yeah. And now Xiang is well and truly set up. Already caught back up in CS. And in goes Shueijue looking for the ultimate, but there's the Nether Grasp. Athena in trouble as now the rest of OMG turn up. He is going to fall down as Icon picks up the kill. Looks all too easy, and OMG look reinvigorated.
And that's the beauty of Gragas, is his ability to break mid-lane sieges there, because he can bounce these mid-range control mages like Xerath, like Azir, like Victor off of the tower and into the danger zone.
Yeah, well, he's certainly in the danger zone. You saw how easy it is to follow up any of that with the ultimate out of the Malzahar.
And that was a 1-2 punch from OMG as they pick up 2 towers and start taking control of this gold lead, possibly more.
Oh, Road also has to be pretty careful here as he's following in. Jin Zhao going to follow up, but no one else is really around. Amazing J's going to find his way in and Avoidless, getting himself a flank as OMG relatively low on health, but Road has to eat his grey. We'll be able to make it out. IMA. He threw down the ultimate from Jin Zhao, but don't know what they were trying to get.
Sliver of health, though, for Road to kind of limp out of that team fight. Very scary scenario. I may need to start going back to their kind of trap game. I like to refer to them as a trap team. Again, high mobility, like pick compositions, like moving around. Need to start playing around with these visions and Need to start playing around with their vision.
The malefic ones?
Yeah. And creating number disadvantages around key moments if they want to beat OMG.
Well, it's really interesting because that's exactly what OMG have been able to do so far this game. A little bit more successfully, have got themselves to a 2,500 gold lead. But you can see Jin Zhao getting himself back up in that farm. Amazing J as well, still comparable and has his minion wave to deal with right now. So IMA still okay for the moment.
And checking back in on SMLZ's build, again, We said this before. He likes to be that late game hard carry, so looking more towards that late game Lucian build with the Essence Reaver into more of a consistent crit rather than the immediate penetration power spike of the mid game Ghostblade Duskblade build.
I like it a lot. Xiang as well, actually opting for the Titanic version of the Hydras. Seen a fair bit more Ravenous, but just wants to have a little bit more of those tanky stats as Icon's shield is broken from Athena. Nice Arcana Pulse flies through. And if there's anyone that can safely wave clear, it would be Xerath. So that is good news as Athena have lost their outer turret in the mid lane. 5 looking to try and knock down the vision that has been provided. Starting to do some good damage on the side of Athena, but there's a Nethergrass one more time. Athena underneath this turret isn't okay at all as Icon picks up the kill. OMG still underneath this one, and a Voidless is going to go down. It's a double kill from the Malzahar as Jin Zhao now in trouble. Has to flash as the Malefic Visions are still doing work. Culling is going to be there, but the Visions run out. And Jin Zhao survives. SMLZ so strong right now. The tower is going to dissuade OMG from any further pressure.
This is an incredibly important play from OMG, though, simply because, again, there's so much wave clear on Aime's comp. The fact that Xerath, like you said, can safely wave clear, the fact that Sivir is still on their composition, they need to make sure that they can break these freezes. So, again, picks like Malzahar, picks like Gragas are so fundamental, and they keep abusing this.
Yeah, they most certainly do. And Icon as well. Doing the majority of the damage for OMG. This Malzahar pick is huge.
And it's just ridiculous, his threat range. The fact that Malzahar can walk up to a tower and you have to completely disengage from it, he's pretty much the better Lissandra at this point.
He is, a little bit more solo-based, but this is exactly what OMG have been using it for as well. Just pick one target off, get the wave clear, get the mage in the mid lane who can safely clear, kill him, move on.
Icon certainly showing why the LPL, like Korea, has been permabanning and prioritizing Malzahar so highly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Road is going to have some visitors here towards the bottom side as Jin Zhao throws down the spell shield but doesn't find anything, and his support just dies almost instantly. SMLZ just has so much damage at this point, able to pick up the double kill as they grab the Rift Herald from the other side of the map. OMG. Completely different team in game number 2.
I may have no idea where to be on the map. This is supposedly China's third best team right now. Need I remind everyone that OMG are the last place team in Group B. Yes, IMA shot up through the standings because they were able to dominate most of Group A, but they had their big test against EDG, and they failed that test. They lost back-to-back games at 20 minutes both times in spectacular fashion.
Yeah.
This time around, Game 1, they managed to finish it out strong, but still stumbled on those 5v5s, and now in Game 2 are being run over by OMG.
And this is a team that relies on being strong in the early game as well. That's what gets them past their relative inability to get a lot of these 5v5s working. Of course, last game was an exception. They played the 5v5s beautifully after the first one, but Road once again caught out of position as Jin Zhao. They're going to switch the attention to him. Road's going to eat him up, uses the grey health, and survives, but that is purely survival. And now they have to go back and possibly give up another minion wave under turret and possibly the turret itself.
Yeah, and there's no way that a Voidless can approach this tower, especially with Jue making the rotation. Again, Gragas' threat to shove people off of towers.
Well, across the map here as well as Xiang, just underneath an inner turret, tanking it up, has the subjugate. The inner turret falls on the other side of the map. OMG, multi-faceted destruction right now against IMA.
IMA are bleeding out across the map. They need to stabilize. They need to create picks. And they need to hold on.
They most certainly do, but the slow comes down. Shui misses the ultimate there, but a Voidless, not quite enough damage left. The ultimate comes down from Athena, does a lot of work, but SMLZ had the heal to help him out, and is going to narrowly survive. IMA needed that pick, but they don't get it.
They still do have wonderful tools on their composition that they can hang on if Gragas and Malzahar aren't in position. Again, their wave clear is still very strong, so they can stall this one out. But you have to think that OMG are going to start looking towards this Baron possibility in 24 seconds.
We'll see whether they can do it this early on in the game. Of course, 2 dragons to OMG here as well, as they've had complete control. It's Ocean and Cloud, so not like last game, not triple Infernal up front. However, still, lots of ability to rotate around the map, which they've been using effectively, and of course, the added healing that they have while they're moving.
And it will be another Ocean coming up. So right now, OMG will probably take the free objective in the Dragon. There's just no way that IMA can contest it unless they have a big pick. They're already getting bullied off their own blue buff. So it should just be a freebie for OMG, and again, start setting up pressure towards that top side of the map. The last standing outer is in the top side, as well as that Baron being available to him. And that's where IMA should actually be going. They should be going towards that top side, start defensively warding up their own jungle, and trying to catch OMG out of position while they set up for this play.
Well, you can see already Athena, he built himself a Haunting Guise, wants as much damage as possible right now as well with that flat penetration. You can see it is warning signs for IMA's Road once again. Unfortunate position as Jin Zhao just getting eaten by this Trundle, who flashes on top of him and chomps him down. Unstoppable now as he's 3-0 and 2, and OMG continue the pressure. Concussive blows down as SMLZ gets exhausted, but he's dancing away from this fight. Avoidless and Road now in trouble as SMLZ getting ulted by the Xerath gets killed. Athena picks that one up as now Avoidless in trouble off the back end. Xiang's teleported in. Road's going to die as well, and despite getting the priority 80 carry, Athena now the last man standing. You can see him on your screen right there. Not looking happy.
Even Xiang wasn't looking happy, and he just dominated a team fight by 1v1ing the AD carry. Naturally, OMG a game down. They can't afford to lose this one if they want to win the series. Again, it is a very tight race for them. A miracle run if they want to clinch a playoff spot. They pretty much have to win all of their games, as well as Vici tanking like a rock star.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of things need to go right here for OMG. We talked about LGD's task being a tough one. Well, OMG is even tougher, which would make sense considering the fact that they're further down in the standings. Jin Zhao relegated to clearing out puppies in the jungle. And OMG don't even want him to do that. Nice ward. Is going to spot them out as Rageway sees it, watches it die, and knows that now his jungle is clear.
Finally, IMA trying to control their overextension across the map, pulling Jin Zhao back. And there we go. Finally, the Dragon has spawned. We said that this was going to be an OMG freebie. There's no way IMA can contest.
There are so many Voidlings.
That's the other big thing about Malzahar. So we kind of covered his strength in lane in general, how he is great for sieging as well, but his objective control. And again, there's higher priority on Dragon this year, as well as Baron, and having that Voidling spawn. Just, he shreds tanks. He's got a free BV.
Just silly.
His itemization is super cost efficient. It's pretty much 2 core items. You can see them on your screen right now, the Morello Nomicon as well as the Rylai's. I personally really like the CDR boot simply because one of Malzahar's, as opposed to penetration build, simply because one of Malzahar's abilities has a flat cooldown on his Q. So it doesn't augment that at all, and he's very dependent on his flash and ghost.
Well, I'm looking to try and stop this Baron attempt that has been started by OMG. Those double Ocean Drakes are helping them out, though. As you can see, the health bar is rapidly returning. This Baron's still very angry.
But IMA will need to respond to their waves. Again, OMG, they started it prematurely because why not? If they come, maybe we get a pick or maybe we get it for free. But eventually, IMA will have to fall out of position because they need to take care of all of their waves.
Yeah. There's that bottom inhibitor turret. Potentially under fire soon. Jin Zhao going down there, trying to clear things up. But he's Essence Reaver, Zeal, Dagger, in comparison to almost Phantom Dancer, Essence Reaver, and Infinity Edge. And Amazing J's being caught out. Really nice barrel from Zhui as SMLZ picks up another kill. Amazing J not having the game that he wants to. OMG have snowballed out of control, much like IMA did in Game 1.
And we also talk about, again, where these two teams, how they are different, but also similar in where they like to carry from. Jungle, AD, or jungle bot lane.
Well,
and it's been Shui and Lucian.
It most certainly is. The ultimate comes out of Athena, but 5 is going to survive using his Face of the Mountain Shield. Oh, the last one was held onto. 5 is going to fall. That was cute. OMG only lose their support, however, as Avoidless still looking for more.
Does manage to zone them off of sieging into the inhib top tower, which is a big win for IMA. Again, a nice breather. OMG should have to reset their position on the map, which could give IMA a small window to move over to this Baron pit, lay down some defensive vision, and make sure that they don't go completely dark there.
Yeah, and this game, of course, isn't over yet. 25 minutes in. It is an 8,000 gold lead that IMA do need to recover. But they do, like we were talking about prior, have a lot of ability to clear minion waves, turtle it up, hold things off. If I remember back to Xerath when he was in the meta.
They can still look to turtle, but unfortunately the counter to turtling, the undoing of Team WE, and the undoing of IMA's composition, Gragas. There's a reason why he is the big priority back over Rek'Sai.
Oh, and Wajwejwe prioritized him so heavily in the first game. Athena will be able to grab himself his blue buff for what feels like the first time this game, as Baron has been started one more time. It's just SMLZ and Icon actually, as the Voidlings are tanking this one up. 5 heads on over the top. Wajwe's here as well, as Road will get caught out of position. The Baron's going down extraordinarily fast. Wajwe just going to come in and secure it.
Okay, the fact that the AD carry and the mid laner were able to solo the Baron effectively, that's how overtuned Malzahar is. That's the perfect example. If you want a clip from it from a professional game to explain why Malzahar is broken, why you should ban him, just grab, that's ridiculous. That should never be able to happen.
Well, it did help that SMLZ had his Infinity Edge built up, but you're exactly right. That looked all too easy.
They didn't lose any health.
Just insane. As OMG now with Baroned up minions looking to break down this inhibitor turret. It's going to fall like it was made out of paper, and the inhibitor going to follow suit here as well, as boomerangs are flying through from Jin Zhao. Aimee just not going to be able to contest this at all. And what a difference from OMG moving into game 2.
But we've seen this from OMG. They've been on the uprise. They found the magic formula, you know, even losing bans in their last series because they wanted to prioritize having Xiong on the starting roster over memory.
Yeah.
OMG finally have the roadmap to success. A little bit too late in terms of trying to make that late game playoff run, but they've been getting stronger every single week. They're actually a pretty strong team. I actually rank them probably mid-LPL in terms of their abilities, although that's not reflected in the scoreboard because they had a very late start.
And a very rough first go at this group as well. As we were singing the praises of Group B, have been able to win a whole lot more, and it is to do with LGD and OMG stepping up.
And exactly, that's a perfect point. The fact that Group B's bottom 2 teams in LGD and OMG are just so much stronger than the bottom Group A teams.
Yeah. Of course, being Invictus Gaming and Saint. Saint able to pick up 1 win, but IG no wins at all throughout that cross-conference. Aimee at the moment have some respite, but it's 10,000 gold still the lead, and OMG pushing onto this inhibitor turret towards the bottom side of the map. That is so many minions. I take everything I said about respite back because it's on. We'll see whether Athena has enough wave clear to take this one down.
It's not
Amazing
just
Jade,
Athena.
yeah, uses his ultimate to take it out.
It's also Jin Zhao there. Sivir doing work and getting a lot of gold, but again, smothering Aimee's base with all of these incoming waves. Top wave will be a problem eventually.
It certainly will. As you can see, Aimee just moving everyone over to try and deal with all of them. Xiong just says, well, I'm going to help these super minions make their way in, and they'll have to deal with me on Nexus turrets.
And we're also just waiting for Gragas. As soon as Shui sees an opening, it's going to be an easy flash cask.
Well, in goes Xiong as well, trying to take down Amazing J, but nice Blade Surge gets him to safety, and he's dealing with these super creeps. Aimee repositioned towards this inhibitor turret, but SMLZ just locks down Rogue after another fantastic cask. And OMG push forward for their second inhibitor. Boomerangs are flying through Jin Zhao. Nice spell shield, but has to flash out of the way. Malefic Vision's doing a lot of work. And OMG are just too big.
I mean, frankly, OMG have won this game probably around 18 minutes.
Yep.
Their siege potential, it just counteracts everything Aimee's composition is good at. Their 5v5ing was much stronger this time around, and they're actually quite surprisingly smart about how they move around the map.
And how they utilize their picks there as well. Zhuezhui once again just bullying them off this inhibitor turret. It will be the last remaining inhibitor going down in favor of OMG. Jin Zhao, not a lot of mana. He just doesn't have the damage required to stave them off here. Xiong tanking for a while. A Voidless will fall down, however, and he's just going to turn this one around. Arcano Pulse comes in. Icon picks up the kill onto a Voidless. As Amazing J's found the backline. SMLZ is going to fall down. Aimee trying to get the work done that they can, but Icon is just so big. And Amazing J's been turned on by 3 members of OMG. See, the ultimate comes down from Athena, but just can't find the kills, and no one's in kill range right now. I may have to wait for these super minions to start crashing in.
I mean, IMA just picked up what are effectively table scraps.
Yeah.
But their base is in shambles. They've lost 3 inhibitors. OMG are going to easily walk back, pick up another dragon. I believe this one will be their 4th. Recollect themselves and look for the final push. But back-to-back performances from both these teams have been incredibly dominant. We said that they're very heavy snowball teams.
Yeah.
Game 1, IMA just came out crashing. This time around, OMG just sucker punched them.
It certainly did, as Athena's trying to do what he can with this minion wave.
Big difference is that next game, IMA will be on blue side.
Yeah.
And you have to think that that's going to open up a lot more opportunity to look for these big, high priority picks. Because effectively, a lot of these games have been decided in draft phase. The fact that IMA got their hands on the Shin Hecarim combination, which was taken away this time around. The fact that Malzahar this game got through the draft phase and instantaneously fell into Icon's hands, you have to think that's a mistake that IMA will not make again.
Well, of course, it was banned away by OMG in game number 1. But this time OMG as well with an Infernal Drake to augment a couple of oceans and a cloud. Insult added to injury once again. And OMG just waiting for these super minions to become too much. But they have been waiting quite a lot, to be perfectly honest with you.
They're just waiting to pick up every available power spike that's open on the map right now. So picking up the Infernal Drake, making sure that they're healthy, getting their waves crashing in simultaneously.
But Inhibitor respawns towards the top side of the map. Jin Zhao has his damage items. There's a Rabadon's Death Cap on Athena. Can IMA turtle? That's the question. This inhibitor most likely to fall down again as Jin Zhao going to get knocked back into the team. Road eats him up. Nicely played by the support. Gets him into position to do damage, but they're just not tanky enough. Jin Zhao gets the shield from Road, but it's just not enough. And Athena now standing on his fountain, unable to get the damage in there. It's a triple kill from SMLZ. Nice stun comes in. 5 avoids the Arcano Pulse. Nexus turrets are erupting around this map, and the Nexus is going to follow. OMG bring it to a game number 3 against IMA.
And they destroy IMA in game number 2, very similar to the massacre that happened in game number 1 from IMA's position. Again, this time around though, game 3, IMA will be on that blue side, so we'll have a much stronger ability to abuse draft phase and look for that high priority pick like Shin, like Hecarim, like Malzahar, which have really been the turning points of the series so far.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But if we have a look at these 2 games back to back, IMA had that team fight that they couldn't quite find in the mid game, whereas OMG, that game was just domination almost from minute 1. They were chasing IMA around the map and constantly getting picks in multiple different places. That play from SMLZ was beautiful, playing his Lucian to the nth degree. It does fall down to Amazing J towards the end, but just really beautiful play from OMG, and they kept the aggression up from minute 1.
And it comes down to this kind of weird idea. IMA, they fall down when they face elite teams because they don't have great macro sense as some of the other veteran teams in the LPL do. OMG are actually fairly surprising, and yes, they're a very young roster in terms of young talent and kind of undeveloped synergy, but they're surprisingly clever about where they need to be on the map. Probably more so than they should be given the amount of time that this roster has had, although they do have 2 veteran members in SMLZ as well as Xiang.
And speaking of both of those players, Xiang was given a lot of attention early on, was able to get that double kill as soon as he had any support, set himself up, and SMLZ was playing like an utter beast this game.
We talked about this again. These teams carry from the jungle and the bot lane positions. It's just kind of different in terms of the 80 carries on OMG and the support carries on IMA.
Yeah. You can see OMG were able to clean up this fight as well. It was SMLZ falling down, but it took so long to do it that there were just no IMA members left, and then they systematically tore apart the base. And I think you're right. The Gragas pick's such a big deal. And when we look at the next game, do we think that Gragas might find some attention in the ban list, or do you stick to the famous 3 OMG bans?
I mean, it's really hard to fit Gragas in there. We've seen some teams kind of move towards that, especially when you have champions like Ryze, Vladimir, and Malzahar. Although a lot of those champions aren't being touched actually and getting through draft phase. But I don't think you can actually fit Gragas in there unless you're really trying to target something out, especially with Hecarim and then Shen. So these compositions, these teams, they're able to play very similar styles with a lot of different champion pools. I think you just take out the overtuned champions and hope for the best.
Well, we'll see whether IMA can do it as we move into game number 3. We are now going to have a short break, but when we get back, we'll see whether they can do it.